this one put here, then I can see. With this I don't see also. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Then it's easy to check.
Yes, that's the idea.
So, as a practitioner, it's very important to train our mind. I think train our mind, right? You change your mind, it's train your mind. Turn. Not tame, but turn. Mind from the samsara is really very important. As much as possible, Of course, totally turn away from samsara is for beginners very difficult. But what we need to concerning is that one of the important is turn away from the samsara. And then on the top of that, then we have to vow, take vow of the refuge, like genuine devotion to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sanghas, Sangha jewels. Also, knowing of the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, knowingly. The chapter 5th, we talk about a lot the Buddha, has also order, inner, circuit, cause, result, Vajrayana perspective, Mahayana perspective, Hinayana perspective, the beginner way of the recognize of the Buddha Dhamma Sanghas. So knowing of this, knowing the quality of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, knowing the Buddha Dhamma Sangha itself, and then take vows, to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. And then on the top of that, of course, then Mahayana practitioners, the attitude, the positive thought. When we talk about positive thought, also different perspective, they have different recognition of the positive thoughts. Such the Hinayana practitioners, the positive thoughts they talk. They talk about positive thought. Don't talk much bodhicitta or pure perception and etc. But their perspective of positive thought is more like train mind from the samsara, like renunciation, and keep virtue mind, not killing, not stealing, not harming, not sexual, and etc. They are positive thoughts. Then, when we talk about Mahayana perspective of the positive thoughts, of course, those are necessary. What the Hinayana or what the foundation Buddhism, what they says are necessary. But on the top of that, also thinking of the others, for benefit of the sentient beings. And then we talk about compassionate and also realization of the emptiness as well as interdependent origination and etc. So their Mahayana perspective of the positive thought is great attitude which not only thinking of the ourself, not only thinking of the free from the samsara, but thinking of the totally awakened and not only yourself but to all sentient beings. So that is Mahayana way of the positive thoughts, positive attitudes. And in also actual, they applying. In Hinayana practitioners, they keep vows, they're not killing, harming, more like they just practice of the antidote of their own negative emotions. And then in Mahayana, not only having this positive attitude of the thinking of all sentient beings, but they also does like the 6 parameters, and accumulative merits and etc. And then on the Vajrayana perspective, and even the more deep, they have pure perceptions, more like really the focusing of the nature of the mind directly. So like, the practitioner himself has also very much confidence of their nature is pure, and the interdependent origination of the appearances are more like the dreams, But even this, not only like the dreams, but these are the even also pures. So therefore, the relatively, they're talking about all sentient beings as Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, relatively, even relatively. So in the Goyanga authentic, they're talking about the great purity and the great equanimities or equalism. So like the absolutely everyone equal, and then relatively every phenomena are pure. So even earth, water, fire, and these are the also just, kind of manifestation of the luminosity, not such as like water, fire, and etc. So therefore, we call 5 female wisdoms are 5 elements. 5 Buddha family is 5 aggregates and etc. So those are the different way of the recognition and also different perspective to understanding of the both relative and absolute. So therefore, if we have more generate mind close to that level, and they say this, that positive attitude, more like pure perception. From there, then they build everything. So therefore, and today we are listening here, why we cannot have actually pure perception, why we cannot have the such great bodhicitta mind, why we cannot have genuine renunciation, because we have defilements, we have habit tendencies, we have the how I could say that negative emotions. So therefore, we could not see. So in order to seeing, or in order to having the positive attitude, such those things, and we need to purify something. We need to purify. There's nothing add something, nothing needed add something, but we need just purifying. So in order to purifying, and today you are listening, teaching here. So we are now listening the chariot, and then in this teaching has the 13 chapters, but we are on the 8 chapters. So in 8th chapter has 3, and we are on the 2nd. In 2nd, they have 10 different subheadings. So we are on the 3rd. And in 3rd, there is, preliminary. The 3rd is how you are receiving vows. There is preliminary, actual, and conclusion. So we are on the preliminary. And preliminary has 2, the collection of the circumstances, and as well as 7 branches. So we are on the 7th branch. And 7th branch itself has 2, actual, and how the 7th branch makes purifying, and how it collecting immeasurable merit. So we are now actual. Actual has 7, so we are on the 3rd. 3rd is now confess. The confess is the one of the very important to the purifying of our habit tendencies. In the one of the sutta, the Tibet or the Seo Tambar, spring light of the golden, says, Kongi kalwa tonams dipashant mazejis, lenchi rad shapai teda tamje shongwajanjers, teda tamje shongwajanjers. So the meaning is someone who collected the habit tendencies of the bad or evil deeds in the thousands of the eons. You've done a lot. Thousands of eons is not short, not 1 life or 2 life, but thousands of eons is immeasurable lives, which we created like bad habit tendencies. But this person can be enlightened. Yes, this can be enlightened. How? But when you have really genuinely, if you confess once, you don't have to confess also 1,000 eons, but once, if you confess like correctly, such like today, this morning we talk about how you need to confess. If it does like that, like really genuinely, and then all your evil deeds, which you created thousands of kalpas, will be purifying completely. The Buddha's word. So we have to, something we have to believe about Buddha's word, because we do not have any other way to understanding. So therefore, that was Buddha's word. So today, this morning, we talk about that. So I was few things make more clarified for you here that they're talking the page number 131 and first says the liturgy with I and for oneself. So I don't know exactly this English what this is, but here there's two ways to we do confess. One is more like by yourself. You know, we visualize and we visualize all or the lighting from the Buddhas and then melt, and that way you are purified. You know, in this teaching they talk about two ways how you are, how you confess. The first one is more like we yourself visualize everything, and second we have master. You are doing from the master. So therefore, the second one is like how you confess through the others, and first one is how you confess by the yourself. So Tibet word is that is correct, but in the English, first it says literally with I, then for oneself, and this is totally wrong. I don't get this. What is meaning this? There's no meaning, right? So therefore, the first one is I or yourself. You know, yourself, how to confess. And then second one is confess through the others. So in Tibet word, exactly here now, very clear says, so 동번은 wrong itself, 힘은 yen itself. So way of the first one is how you confess it by yourself, and next one is for others or through others. So that is one thing. And then second, the problem is that last session we just stopped, and there was one quotation from Friendly Letter Says. You know, we stop here, the last one. Friendly Letter says, whoever was careless about afterwards, but afterwards careful, will be as splendid as the cloudless moon. So these two are kind of examples. So someone who do not know what is really virtue, what is not virtue, and they do many different things. You know, they did not know what is virtue at all. So they're collecting lot of the bad virtues, bad actions. But then later on, someone teach you, oh, this is good, this is bad. So then you just check what you have done. Then we knew, oh, that was wrong. Oh, that was wrong, you know. Like, I think for beginners, we do not know what is really right and wrong. Even sometimes we knew, but we cannot control. But we have to carefully, you know, the careful means like try to really be aware of the abandon of the bad evil or bad deeds and collection of the good actions. So however, then later when you knew all those things, good and bad, and you make care of that, and from that, then you will be purified of the bad, the habit tendencies. And example of the when they are full of the clouds, you do not see the moons. It's totally kind of dark. But when the cloud are gone, then moon will appear. Similarity, the knowing of the good and the bad, you know, the action of the careful, it brings like virtue and positives will appear. And then he put here a few names, but the translation, he put only one name, if I understood correct from this. So there was 4 kind of the beings. So this sentence, which someone else translated, so I sent it to WhatsApp, Actually, maybe you will see afterwards. But anyhow, there was one we call, I think it's Ananda. They talk about, I think, Ananda. And then the next one is Angule Mala. And then next one is Ajitashat Tashatu. I think the translation something like that. And then fourth one is Aduyana. So the 4% here, the 4%. But this 4% has very different negative emotions. You know, someone have more desire than anger and jealous and etc. Someone have more anger than, you know, desire. Someone have more neutral of those things, and so on and so forth. So therefore, here this 4% was very kind of full of the negative emotions. But later on, all of them, they got some blessings from the masters, and they have some seeds to the practicing. So therefore, they all of them become, you know, someone arhat, someone nearly Buddhahood, someone born into the God realms. But what they have done is really big things. But they have strong kind of regretting and strong also promising. So therefore, their confess was kind of successful. You know, they have genuine confess. So therefore, all of them became arhats. For example, then Ananda was very, very designed to the woman, very desire, you know, desire, have strong desire. So therefore, you know, Buddha asked many times to be if you are busy, please then you first down your things. So I don't care Helsinki city, but you care. Okay. So the desire, he was a strong desire with the women, and then Buddha see he has some potential to become arhats, but he don't want to really do this. You know, Buddha have some kind of seeing him, he could become arhat, but he don't believe, and he think this is arhat. You know, he think this is his kind of enlightenment. You know, being with women. So then Buddha firstly bring him with miracle on the God realms, and he shows the goddess and gods and enjoyment of the gods, and he was too enjoyed. But of course, that was not so long, because then Buddha bring down. And then he says, I have to be born that. You know, I want to go to there. And what is the quotient? You know, what is the cause and condition? And then Buddha says, those are the who were kept well vows in the human realms, and then they will born in the God realms, next lives. And then he want to become monk. And the intention was he just to be born in the God realms, you know, really God realms, to be enjoyed with the women's enjoyment of the things. So he kept vow, he took vow, and he kept like that way. And Buddha, of course, is knowing that his motivation is not renunciation. So those who take vows of the Vinayas, it's supposed to have renunciation of from all samsara, not only hell realm, animal realm, human realms, but from the 6 realms. But his intention was just being born in the God realms. That we call the wish for better life, you know, but in the samsara. So Buddha knew that. And then one day, Buddha took him into the hell realms. and he shows all these hot hell realms, cold hell realms, neighbors of the hell realms, and in tremendous suffering there. Every sentient beings he cannot really look at. So you know, like he cannot really see it. You know, how they are suffering, because he like more only in the joy, enjoy. You know, so those persons they cannot see even the sufferings. There's no question about take the sufferings. So then Buddha bring back him to the human realms, and then he asked, what was that happening, you know? What is their cause and condition? And then Buddha told that if someone keep vows for the human realms in purpose to born in the God realms, and then they will born in the God realms, but in God realm, entire life, there is no much generosity, ethic, and like that, just only enjoy. You know, then the merit will be, you know, like decreasing. And when they finish merit, then they have to go different, the hell realms or other realms. And then he told all this, what will happen and this and that. Then somehow he have little understood. There is no really much meaning in all the 6 realms. So then after, his motivation became changed. So therefore, then he had pure renunciation from the samsara, and he really wished to become totally liberate from the samsara. So therefore, he kept well vows, and then he became then arhats. That was Ananda. They more like who have stronger desire of the negative emotion. And then the next one is the call, this Angulamala was too much ignorance. He don't know much, you know, he just listen whatever someone says. So he had some bad spiritual friend and he followed them. So this morning I talk about 99 fingers, but actually 1099, you know, 1099 he have finger. And then later one he had strong kind of, he met the Buddhas, and then hearing of the teaching, the virtue actions, unvirtue actions, and so on and so forth. And then he knew that killing was bad actions. So he had great regretting, and he tried to then confess and practicing, keep vows, and therefore he also became arhats. And then next one was the Ajyata Shiti. I don't know how to read. How to read this English? Do you have English? Oh, okay. I think Tibetan word anyway, Tongden, you know, Tongden. The Tong means see, you know, see. So the translation, he put something seeing here, a joy of seeing, he put one. But there's 2 names. One is endowment of the seeing, in kind of translator. Tong is see, then is kind of favored or endowment. And then next is Dejit. Dejit means, they means happy. You know, he means like action, who gives joy. So therefore, I think this man has little bit very strange translator here. Anyhow, but I think I sent this quotation from the original teaching from the friendly letter, so all of you will get things. But then Tongden was very stronger anger, so he killed his Dhamma king, you know, his father, you know, actually his father, who were really kind of what is called dhammic person, so he killed because of the anger. And then later on also he realized that killing of the parents was big action, you know, that is something really big, bad. So he got very great that regretting, and he used antidote of the dhammas. So therefore he, you know, like nearly arhats, the one life later than he alive. He had to change one life but he was the highest of the worldly beings in the single life. And then third one has both kind of also desire as well as also anger. So therefore, actually the first one sometimes they translate, Deji is translated as like great God, you know, like Mahadeva. Sometimes this Tibetan word Deji they translate as Mahadeva. So anyway, here is Adhyana. However, he was desire as well as anger, so therefore he killed his own mother for purpose of the actually that he was always doing mixed sexual conduct, you know, mixed sexual conduct, and go different women and so on and so forth. And then his mother tried to change his behavior, you know, says you do not do this, this is not good, and so on and so forth. Every time she telling, but of course he didn't listen mother, but then one time he was very angry with his own mother because mother always tried to telling him should not do this and that, you know, like what his behavior. So therefore he was very angry with his own mother, and then he killed. So later on he met the Buddha, and he realized that as one of the highest bad actions. So therefore he have also great regretting, and as well as then he confessed and apply antidotes, and he also become born into the 33 God realms. So those are the examples. So we do done many bad actions, but there is also solution to be free from the result of the bad actions. So these are the examples, you know, like this subject or this subheading, no, this subject, the list, whatever we call is, I think they says, producing knowledge of being able to turn in these. So like they showing how can be purifying of the bad habit tendencies through the confess, and those are the also great examples. You know, those are the great proofs. So therefore, and that way we just finish it about confess, the third, the seventh branch. And then now fourth one is rejoicing, the rejoicing. So to rejoicing, may we always rejoice in the limitless store of the merit that have been accumulated by sentient beings. So rejoicing, the object of the rejoicing. Sometimes we are rejoicing, you know, someone who makes worldly kind of half is virtue or half is not virtue, or maybe full unvirtue, but something looks like, you know, the worldly something wonderful. We do some kind of rejoicing, but now object of the rejoicing is those who are doing merit, virtue, and then we should rejoicing instead of jealous. You know, someone, you know, like accumulate merit of the virtue such like frustration, recitation, generosity, ethic, diligent on the virtue, and etc., you know, meditation, wisdom. Those are the object of the rejoicing instead of the competition, jealous, and etc. So therefore here they're talking about the accumulate, you know, merit that has been accumulated by the sentient beings. And Tibetan word topper dance, not only one time, but he says always try to rejoicing. Whenever you see someone created the positive actions. And then here is also missing some Longchen Ranjam's word. Teong Longchen ji gewa la sambar thaba ni yerong gamna gesan nyambar nya tochi sonam se medes. If you rejoicing the virtue actions, you know, someone they collecting the virtue, And if we rejoice in that, and here says the merit is totally equal. So therefore, the rejoicing has immeasurable merit. Because you do yourself virtue actions, and that is also one kind of one great merit. But on the top of that, we also rejoicing of the others' merit. So you have getting double kind of merit. So therefore, then the great way to accumulate merit. So someone doing effort and someone rejoicing, and this will be same. So that is something big things, right? And then here the quotation, Panchaparamitas, this one of the Panchaparamita teaching. I don't know this. What is this English?
Way.
What means that?
The measure, the way.
Oh, where the month marrow of the 3,000 world and total up the measure of logically possible. But this cannot be done with the goodness of the rejoicing. So even the 3,000 of the world, we can wait, or what? No, we can wait. But here says rejoicing is not something measured. So therefore, the important to have rejoicing. Of course, this is the one of the antidote of the jealous. Sometimes we are saying someone doing hard and say, okay, I'm rejoicing. So, we sometimes lazy people say like this, but that is maybe not rejoicing, I think. Rejoicing is more like something we try our best, but many things we cannot. So then people have jealous that, okay, I try, but I cannot do what he does or he does. So instead of that jealous, you should rejoicing. Oh, I try my best, but I cannot like what he does, So really I rejoicing. So that is important. But if you are just sleeping on the bed and say I'm rejoicing, that maybe it's just only your rejoicing is ignorant rejoicing or laziness rejoicing, so not so wonderful. And then there was also missing, and she says about that, how we knowing of that, then from genuine mind, then you should do rejoicing. It's like, okay, I think they sincerely rejoice like that, saying this word about arising of the good conduct. This is from the this good conduct means that the king of aspiration, actually, arising of good conduct. This is very strange translation, I think. Aspiration of the excellent conduct. This text came from. What this New Translation says? In all the merit of beings within the 10 durations, the one and none retains, the ones and none retains, and the particular Buddhas, the Buddha children as well as all the victory ones, as many of these as there may be, we rejoice in them. So the ones and none retains, means some ahats, you are on the path, and may unit comes back to the one time. But actually here is not, here it says, who are on the path and who are no more than path. That was Here they're talking Hoji Jalwakano, Jazid, Ronja Numbers, like Patika Buddhas, and then who are on the path and who are non-path, or non-written means he translates as non-written, but no more land, no more land, as well as Bodhisattvas and Buddhas, and as well as also sentient beings. But I didn't see here the sentient beings, or beings, right, this. Beings, merit of the beings within the 10 duration, normally this is the 10 duration of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, particular Buddhas, and then who are on the path, who are on the beyond the path, and then sentient beings. Whoever does the merit, and we should rejoicing all of them. That was like that. So in this English, if you find like that, then it's fine. So this is the rejoicing part. So I think many people, the problem of the jealous computation. So I often thinking that as human beings, we do not really need so many things, but mostly what we're doing is something we need, but more like we are doing for the computation. He have something, so we think I also need that. Or he have something, that's why I also need something. So as long as we have computation, then your life will be never free. Your life will be always, follow the someone's. So we cannot really be in the Dharma, or cannot be even, relaxed or something, happy and joy. The computation is very kind of a silly way of the thinking, I should say. So the antidote, just rejoicing, fine, is whoever have merit, whatever they have. If you are a practitioner of the Dharma, okay, then if you have become worldly or concerning, then we need power, we need wealth, we need everything, then we do everything, whatever you can. But I think if you have lack of merit, even you are whatever efforts, the end you are always same. Never become like something wonderful happening if we are lack of the merit. So therefore, we have to believe of the result of the karmas and etc. Anyway, now number 5th is urging to train the wheel of Dharma. Urging to train the wheel of the Dharma. As for the 5th lump or branch, so that all beings without remainder may cross over, we ask that the unsurpassable well of Dharma be trained. I want to read in also this root text in Tibet. Malu higutsona dalvisher chuj kolo lame korwakas. So the sentient beings, unexceptional sentient beings, to be liberated from the samsara, which is that in order to liberate samsara, the all sentient beings, we need guidance, we need right path. The path is Dharma, and who giving that is our guide. So now recourse to the guidance, to having the correct path or Dharma, to be free of all these sentient beings from the ocean of the samsara. So we are recourse. The recourse is very important. Actually, the Buddha Shakyamuni was appear in the Bodh Gaya, and he says he will not give any of the Dharma teachings, but the Idas, Parmas, many of the God realms who have married ones, and few of the in the human realms, they really strongly recourse. So in this case, doesn't mean that Buddha don't want to help. Doesn't mean that actually Buddha, how you could say, kind of stinginess. It doesn't mean that Buddha also, he did not know in future that he cannot liberate of all those sentient beings. But, you know, the front of the sentient beings is very important, someone really, this urging. So yesterday we talked about Hingyong, the purifying of the Buddha field. Yesterday we talked about. So this is also one of example, because if you are not kind of prepared enough on your path, may you enlightened, but may no one asking you to return or training of the Dharma. Even of course you are Buddha, you have accomplishing, you have power. May you also teaching, but it's big difference is someone really urging to teach. So Buddha, when the Buddhas, when they are on the path, kind of purifying of Buddha field means they already kind of prepared all necessary things to be benefit of the sentient beings. So this is also one of example, okay, one of example. When the Buddha enlightened, there is already someone knew that he is enlightened, and there is someone already asking to the teaching of Dharma, and there's already some of the follow the like Buddhas and etc. So these are the like somehow we call prepare on the path. When you are path well accomplishing, then everything is there. All of those are the not for the sake of the Buddha, but those are the also sake of his activities to be benefit of the sentient beings. I hope you understood. So if not, then I cannot say more than that. Okay. The Buddha Bhagavan, after becoming enlightened, did not teach the Dharma until Burma offered and mandalas and supplicated him. Similarly, visualizing that we are in the presence of the gurus, we supplicate them saying these things. So therefore, when you are in front of the masters, it's very important to urging to train the wheel of dharmas. So one of India master, he came to Tibet, and no one knew he was actually great Pandita. So it can be also possible when Buddha appeared, if there's not prepared before, like purifying of the Buddha field. So that Indian master came to Tibet and no one asked anything. So the practitioner was great Bodhisattva. He never shows that he is such great beings. So he just really does what they request, and then many people think he is like a beggar. So there's some families, he keep him as take care of the sheep, goats, cows, and he did that, and he kind of stayed many years in Tibet without any single teaching, because none of Tibetans asking him. So therefore, urging to train the wheel of Dharma is important. And here they're saying also that gurus or whoever you met, spiritual friends, is very important, supplicate them. And aware of this, I think this is from the also excellent conduct, aspiration from the excellent conduct. All those who are the light of the world of the 10 duration, who have unobstructedly awakened and gaining enlightenment, they urge those protectors for the benefit of all beings to train the unsuppressible will of holy Dharma. This is more like for the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. Then, if you are recosting like that, and they has also great merits. The benefit of the recosting is, of course, that when the masters or Buddhas giving teachings, that we raise our wisdom. So like antidote of the ignorant is the recosting of the wheel of the Dharma training, or train of the wheel of Dharma, antidote of the ignorance. So all these 7 branch has some antidote for some negative emotions. So therefore here says, by that obscurations of abandoning Dharma are cleared away. What does this mean?
It sounds like it means when you request the Dharma wheel to be turned, then your obscurations for abandoning Dharma that you had.
Okay. So sometimes we abandon of Dharma, we don't care of the Dharma. We don't care of the Dharma, like more abandoning. So this obscuration will be, I think, cleared away. Maybe that is how it is in English. Anyway, from then on, from generation to generations, our being will always cleave inseparably to the holy dharmas. Here says that the generation to generations, or life to life, and we will be always with dharmas. Dharma of the like genuine Dharma is wisdom, compassion, loving kindness, and etc. So some people generally, they have wisdom and kindness. So those are also must be some kind of reason. You don't have to say that you are Buddhism, or maybe sometimes even much more better than Buddhist practitioners. Someone never ever heard about Buddhists, but still they have some kind of kindness and so on and so forth. So those who are trained, those who have recourse of the Dharma trainings, and here says the benefit is the life to life, you will never separate of the holding of the dharmas. And then next one, the 6th branch is, they're talking about supplicate our teacher not to pass into nirvana. I think also here missing the root text translation. So I hope the new text they do have. What was that?
From now until the ocean of samsara is empty, we supplicate the Buddhas and the Buddha's children, always to remain not passing into nirvana.
Okay. But they didn't say actually the Buddhas and the Buddha's children in the text. And the text says, from today to enter samsara is empty, and we always supplicating not to passing into nirvana. They didn't mention any Buddhas and Bodhisattvas somehow, but I don't know why. Anyway, then next is the Longchen Ranjampa sword, Longchen Ranjampa sword. So, just as formally, Thunder is one of the practitioner, or lay practitioner actually. Formally, Thunder, formally means maybe lay practitioner. What is formally?
In the past.
Past, okay. Okay, Thunder is like lay practitioner, one of the lay practitioner. Supplicated our teacher not to pass into nirvana, as many Buddha Bhagavats as, what is that? Dual? What is that, dual? In the world, and any guru, spiritual friend who in their last morning intend to pass into nirvana, we supplicate to remain until samsara is emptied. Okay, I have to read in Tibet. Okay. Nya dachok temba la genya tsendi nyangale mandaba sowatapa tejandas. Oh, okay. So in the formally or when the Buddhas are alive, the practitioner sender, he supplicate our teacher, our Buddha, and to not pass into nirvana. So the Buddha also raised his life for few years actually. So similarity, here says, also jiten kam kondana songji chamden de chinye gi batong. So same way, if there's as many as the Buddhas existing of all the worlds, and we should also supplicate those not go to the nirvana, as well as also gurus and spiritual friends. And someone, they are already ready to go to the paranimana. And I think here says last morning. It means like maybe they are ready to, the meaning is they are ready to pass into nirvana, some masters. So we do supplicate, and we should supplicate to remaining until samsara empty. So it helps, genuinely, even you knew those masters, or you can image any of the masters who are ready to paranimana. We supplicate not go to the paranimana. When we recite this teacher not to pass into nirvana, it doesn't mean only one teacher, only two teachers, only your teacher, only his teacher, but any teachers, whoever really teaching dhammas in the world, no matter what country, where, we need, those are the great support for us. So therefore, like when we are aspiration, we just think of course your own teacher may be first you image, but all teachers, which is very important, which is also very great kind of benefits. And these are we say, more antidote of the wrong views. Wrong view on the teachers and also teachings, then supplication of the paranimana, not into the paranimana is very important, with devotionally, with really meaning, that kind of meaningfully. So on the essay, and then he used one quotation here, and this is quotation, I think, but this font is something. This is also from the King of the Contact, the King of the Excellent Conduct, aspiration, King of Aspiration of Excellent Conduct, I think they translate something like that. It's very important, Also, why you are request or supplicate, not only because of your sake, but sake of the all sentient beings. Here says, your teachers or any teachers who intend to pass into nirvana, having joined our plans, we supplicate you now to remain for kalpas, as many as the universe has atoms, for the peace and welfare of the all sentient beings. And also directly what its benefit is that here saying, by that evil deed that bring about shorter life, evil deed of bring shorter life is something we are killing sentient beings. If we killed sentient beings, that your life becomes shorter and shorter. So if we done like that kind of, also it can be purified. And untimely death. Untimely death means every sentient being has life kind of length. And many of people dying, when the length is finished, really finished, life finished, they cannot holding this life with this body. But many sentient beings die coincidentally, like accident or certainly some kind of circumstances. So those are we call untimely death. So the requesting or supplicate the teachers not to pass into nirvana, it also benefits that yourself will not die untimely death. And that also helps the purifying of your course of the short life, and other dangers of the life are purified. And those are also kind of this life as benefit. But in the also your mentally, it raises also your wisdom. So therefore, they're talking about immeasurable life established. So if your really inner wisdom, always lighting, without cover of any what is called defilements, that is immeasurable life established. Okay. And then what is next one now? And then next one is the number 7th, which is the dedicate, the merit of the enlightenment. For the 7th lamps, 7th branch or whatever, by this merit may we, as well as all sentient beings, one and all, without exception, be enlightened. Given the dot on Dovakan, Malu Shamchi, Sonjin Rapashos. What mean one and all? Okay, they're like all together. Oh, okay, one and all. This is right. So we do have merit of the practice of, for example, 7th branch, or merit of anything. And then the present merit is like examples, but also in Buddhist we say 3 times of the merit. In the one of the sutta says, Chitandepa Sonji Namji, Ngobat, Chita Majemba Sonji Namji, Ngovan Jirata, Chita Tatajiba Sonji Namji, Ngovan Zepategans. So the present, first say the present virtues, the past virtues, even in the future virtues, all put into one and dedicated to the all sentient beings and to be for enlightenment. And that is one way. Then another way is also how dedicate the past Buddhas, how the dedicating the present Buddhas, how we'll dedicate of the future Buddhas. Likewise, also I dedicate my virtues to the all mother sentient beings. And those are the very important. And in the also we're talking about non-conceptualization of the 3 spheres of the dedication. That is, like who have view of the non-conceptualization. Then there is no such who are dedicator. There is no such who are object where to dedicating. There is no such like also what you dedicate. So therefore, it is, if we have the view, then more like we are remaining in the natural state with those positive actions. And that is also we call the one way of the dedicating. But for our beginners, we cannot do that. So therefore, they often says how the Manjushri dedicate, how the Samatha Bhatta dedicate, and we are also dedicating same way. So these are the also similarly of the dedicating for the non-conceptualization of the 3 spheres. And here it says, and then Longchenranjam sword. Then Longchen gets a Zobu Shonja, and then he gave out the Senship Jur, Horo, Senship Jurmos. And here it says, now we are doing this 7th branch for the receiving of the Bodhicitta vows. So before we are now, like Bodhicitta vows. So you dedicate this merit so that the virtue root of ourselves and others may possess the goal of completing enlightenment. And he translator is Geta Zob Shonjedung. Okay, that is also okay. Enlightenment and the trend formation may be the cause of other arising bodhicitta. Bodhicitta zobo shonje dundanji yirjin senji jilhos. Mainly, of course, you dedicate that all sentient beings become enlightenment, but the merit also goes for the bodhicitta, like cause of the bodhicitta, arising bodhicitta, yourself and others. And then here, these are the short form of 7th branch. Having done prostration, offering, and confession, rejoicing, requesting the teaching, and asking to remain. But so these 2 sentences are missing. But in this book, in the morning teaching book, there is. So we have read it for many places, so no problem, even one missing. One page somewhere missing, but then we have another. So we are well prepared once. but later different way, right? The page number 24 of the morning teaching. Here says, whatever little merit I am able to accumulate it, through prostration, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and supplicating, all this I dedicate to enlightenment. So that's quite easy, right? Oh, easy. And and here says, as for the course of dedication, we were connected with all of the virtue of ourselves and others throughout the 3 times, what I told already. And then he used one quotations from the Sutta teaching, Tibet word called Palboche. All the virtue that sentient beings may have, that was, will be, and now is being produced. As for this goodness, I think always this, goodness for all up on the earth. May that goodness go from age to age. And here says that all sentient beings and all kind of virtues, whatever existent, the past, the present, the futures, and every and each being's virtues goes, like zombo chijen tende satala. Zombo chijen tende satala. I think it's like they're talking about goodness goes from each and to each. That I don't know. Each to each. Okay, maybe like this. Or present to future, future to past, and then etc. And Hova no Sonji Konate, Sonji Konate Yum Pamale Ranjo, Gevata no Sonji Jisa Kona, Hova Shais. So when you are dedicated, so they're talking about the Kunni, Kunjong Zombo. I think this is, we have to think a little bit, what is mean of the, may that goodness go from each to each, means like goodness goes to the good to good, something like that. So like more enlightened, you have to link enlightened. So genuine good, Tibet word kunni, kunjong zombo means totally perfect, always, always totally perfect is actually Buddha. So we dedicate everything, become enlightenment. That is important. So therefore here says, dedicate the merit of this should be done only by Buddha. What it means only by Buddha? That is not only by Buddha, but I think this is the to the Buddhahood, done only to the Buddhahood. However, Sonji, this Tibetan word, maybe there is a little mistake in the old text, so then become it become by Buddha, but it's not by Buddha. So next, the quotation you will see, I think this quote clearly. Shariputa, Sabhuti, these virtue roots are to be dedicated only, again here by Buddha, but to Buddha, okay? It should be not only because of the Tibetan text, but maybe he was something, it must be to Buddhahood, okay? You could say the Tibetan word here, Sonji Sakonar, Sa means Buddhahood, to Buddhahood. The new text, what? Translator same? But then it's new translation is not complete well. Okay. Okay. Then you can say here, they are not to be dedicated by Shavaka Patika Buddhas and those on other levels. So if you say then Shavakas, they cannot. What is meant by Shavaka and Patika Buddha? Yeah, but what is exactly meaning? That is not correct. Everyone can, so why not? But you are dedicated to be born in the Shavakas, be born in the Patika Buddhas, be born other levels. That is not highest your what is called your dedicate. It highest dedicate is to be born in enlightenment. That is correct, or Buddhahood, whatever. So we need to dedicate that way. Okay. Then what is this? Chedi shavi sentient tamdi jishonchito be shirte. Daniel is chedi shavana. The purpose of, now you again here says, the purpose is so that all sentient beings may attain enlightenment. So therefore we need to dedicate to the Buddhahood or enlightenment, not Patika Buddha, not Shavaka Buddha, not human being, and etc. Okay? And then again the quotation from same text, it means the middle length of what is called the Panchaparamitas. So what is middle length? How many shlokas? Sorry? Yeah, Anna? 20,000 what? Feel a little bit loudly. What problem? Looks like you are scaring. Yes, sir. That is not good answer. Must be sure. And then when you dedicate, not only yourself, he says, to be enlightenment, but for all sentient beings to be enlightenment. So it is dedicated for the sake of all sentient beings, not not merely for one's own complete attainment. Okay, wrong answer. To batanda then the Mayantes. Then if you only for yourself, then what will happen is, then this is we call, because by doing the latter, one would fall into the lower of the Shavaka and Patika Buddhas. So I think this translation is also little strange somehow, but anyway, the says says that the not only merely one's own complete attainment, because if we does that, that means that you are into Shavaka and Patika Buddha levels, falling into the Shavaka and Patika Buddha levels. So therefore, when we dedicate this for the enlightenment, but focusing of the all sentient beings, or sake of the all sentient beings. So that is how you really do the dedicating. And then Longjian Ranjian Pa's word here. Number no Chui Tanji Major, no Yamata Viton. Giva Yung Mulam no Yamata Vishini Hawashatis. Then another things, when we really become practitioner, then some practitioners have very clinging, clinging of the virtues. I have done 5 times preliminary practice. I have done, like 20 times something. I have done many years retreat, or so on and so forth. So the practitioner has new clinging. Is that their virtue? Then if we have that kind of clinging on virtue, it's not also proper way. The practice of the virtue is supposed to be remove of the any clingings. So if you have new clingings, then it's not also correct. So therefore, here says all Dhamma are non-existent yet appear, like dreams and illusions. In dedicating merit, we should know that merit too is like the dream or illusions. That is very important also. The all sentient beings, if you think of the reality point of view, these are the like great dream. So therefore, your merit is also must be as dream. Therefore, you are also must be like dream. Therefore, your dedication is must be like dream, because everything as dream, but my virtue is only is real or genuine. Then again, there is no logic. So therefore, therefore we have to think that way. And then here again, this is Ranjo. Ranjo is Sabhuti, right? But there was, I read, is Shariputra somewhere up there. There was another Ranjo somewhere. I have to check. Oh, yes, it's Sabhuti, not Shariputra, sorry. Before I read that Sabhuti. Yeah, Sabhuti is also very active with Buddha, He's really, great. When you are reading this longer Panchaparamita, it's only the Sabhuti is talking. And also a little bit, he's good and bad. Okay, in the Buddha says, Sabhuti, all Dhamma are like a dream, like an illusion. Merit too should be dedicated as being complete like a dream, like an illusion. Then here they're talking about another things. Sutta requested by Bada. Bada is Tibet word Zombo. Zombo is in English excellent. So his name is excellent. Zombo Bada says, whoever does not perceive a gift that is given, and then there's missing few things. Yimbar nyiki, yimbat nyamba teniki zombo lana yonda kyos. Kongi yimba kongla tong yimbar cheta mimipas. Do you have this text?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoever does not perceive a gift that is
So what does that mean?
If someone doesn't see or perceive that there is a gift and there is giving, then this equality, the goodness is perfect.
Right. So whoever gift, whoever does not perceive gift and that is given, and what you give, who give, and everything become non-dualism or non or whatever. That is quite clear. Anyway, they're talking about like free from three spheres, the free from conceptualizations of the way of the dedication. So the other one is seeing as illusory, and next one is without any conceptions, even illusory, I think. Or then illusory means that something not really truly something, which you are clinging, not like that. And then here Longchenpa says, Mipam Hembi Gesa Den Dembo Shipan Mazontes. If on the contrary, what contrary? Through conception, what is contrary? Contrary. Oh. And through conception or attachment, we think of virtues root as real and truly existing. That is not good. That I already explained, right? And cheta tu donde per kazi zon sawa kabuchula mipaon tenda jalbi songs. Just like eating good food that has been mixed with poisons, perception of the white Dharma is conquered, it is taught. So therefore, like even we clinging of the virtue actions, clinging, I think in the when the viewpoint of the Mahayanas, in the like highest, it says even we are clinging like Buddha is really Buddha, and that is also some kind of clingings. So some point we have to avoid also that. But of course for beginner, we do need Buddha, we do need devotion, we do have confidence that Buddha is there and so on and so forth. But those are all method. So method is really very strange. So method is very much dependent on your wisdom. So like if we have high wisdom, then the lower methods are not anymore methods. So therefore, method is always changing all the time, very much dependent on our knowledge. So every phenomena are supposed to be methods, but if you do not have knowledge of those how to use, we cannot use, right? The book is great method, but if you don't know how to read, then this doesn't help. But if you know everything by heart, you don't need book. So therefore, the method is very much dependent on your own wisdom. So the all phenomena, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, virtues, all these are the actually the methods. So at some point that here says even we are clinging of the white Dharma is not correct. But the beginning, clinging of white Dharma is very important for the antidote of the black Dharmas. And then next one also, why so? When there are no characteristics, they can be dedicated to enlightenment. But when there are characteristics, and they can be not dedicated to the enlightenment. So enlightenment is beyond the characteristics. There's many good teachers, but then the stupid student never learned this since many years. What is that again? Say again.
Characteristics.
Okay. Then say again one more.
Characteristics.
Characteristics. They can, they can be, because the enlightenment is the beyond that. So therefore, it's very important to be without conception or attachment or clingings. And then he put also one quotation, Abhi Samaya Alamkara, from the Buddha Matriya's Panchaparamita. Then mimit number Hinji Malum Senyato Hiso. And when this has the aspect of having no characteristics, okay, then it has no characteristics of being right. Characteristic of the being right. What is this now? When this has the aspect of the having no characteristics, then it has no. Then it has the characteristic of the being right one. Okay, that is correct, like dedication. Jesus. Okay, maybe we can hear short stop, I think. Or maybe, okay, now, yeah, short stop. Yes, please. Okay. It was maybe a little go down, it's good, okay, but.
Brahma
they're talking about non-characteristics. I think this is like conception, when characteristic is the translator as more like Tibetan word thamma. Thamma means that as long as we have the conception, like such thing, good, bad, yellow, red, and all kind of conceptions we call thamma. So that is the translators, they used to translate it as like characteristics. Then also this is the same as like non-conceptualization. So in Tibet or here actually more they're using non-conceptualization. So, but then they use also number, Tibet word number. If you kind of have this number means like some kind of elements, can be also existing things, can be characteristics. So the actual meaning is then same as like the free from the three phase, and that is correct one, that is correct and perfect kind of way of the dedication. Then down here they are talking about the as for the essence of the dedication, essence of the dedication. Essence of the dedication. Getsa xiongche dun bi yirwi lo dong, sik chepar chen, to damba days. As for the essence of dedication, by directing the virtue route to enlightenment, and then mind is also transformed and its power is controlled by particular words. So here they're talking about when we dedicate, we always reciting something, reciting something, right? Most time, we never do dedicate like with meditation. It can be done that way, as we talk about the non-characteristic. There's not necessarily has some kind of words, but for us beginners, the word is some kind of teaching, that you can hear these sounds, you can hear this sound of the teaching from someone else, but also you can hear these sounds by yourself. So if you really your mind with the sound of the prayers or dedication mantras, so you get the meaning of that. It goes to the also a support of the thinking of your mind, the sounds. So recitation has power, actually kind of wakes our mind or changes our mind. So if someone's calling you, that is also the sound's power, right? Similarity now, we're calling ourselves, or we're calling to your mind through the recitation of the dedication mantras. So therefore, they're talking about here the power of controlled by the particular words, or control or leads, whatever you can say. So that, particular word, and same time your motivation is already kind of thinking of the dedication, and then reciting that meaning of that sound. When they comes together, it has power, it has energy, it's supposed to be excellent actually. But then sometimes we are reciting too many things, and then our mind is not there. Mind is not there, So therefore, the recitation is not very much linked with your mind. It happened. It happened to me. I think it happened to you. It happened everyone. So therefore, mindfulness, aware is always very important. So what really I am reciting? Why I am reciting? You know, what is the exactly meaning? Do I really reciting correctly or not? So these things are very important. So anyway, now here that they're talking about how the powerful the word and aspiration. You know, Longchen Ranjampa, he used one quotation. This is also sutta. All dharmas, it doesn't mean just only enlightenment paths, but all phenomena. Okay, the dharma has many meanings. This is like all phenomena. In accord with these conditions, so every dharma, phenomena are based on the, of course, the conditions. So therefore, by the dedication, by the dedicate is also dedicate roots are consecrated. What is consecrated?
Make holy.
Sorry?
Make holy. Like when you consecrate the statue.
There's no other than that? Okay. By the dedicate, I think, here says, you know, every phenomena are necessarily kind of needed, the conditions. So the dedication, the root of the dedication is your motivation. You know, Tibet word Ndumba. Ndumba is like aspiration or wish, or we translate, I think, interest or something that last this was on the also of the Bodhicitta derivations. There is Ndumba. So the root of dedication is the based on your wish or your intention. Then whoever with that kind of root, kind of, you know, the wish, then whatever you aspiration, and it will be established in suchness. I think this is maybe we should not translate as suchness. Maybe what is meaning of the suchness? Normally, suchness is some like reality or something, right? Yeah. So Tibetan word teyin nyit. This is also little silly things. Okay, teyin nyit can be suchness, but also as your wish. You know, that is also teyin nyit. So teyin nyit means that here now talking about whatever your aspiration, it will be accomplished as that way. That is Tibetan word teyin. You know why we call suchness? Because suchness is the reality, what it is. So here now says that whatever you wish will be accomplished like what you wish. So that is tejinyut, but not necessarily suchness. You know, suchness is more like a word for the reality. Or if I understood correct English, you know, suchness. But Tibetan tejinyut can be suchness, but also tejinyut means will be accomplished what you wish, or that way, and etc. So in this case, more like whatever your aspiration, it will be established that way. And that is like more essence of the dedication. So we know that when we do dedication, we have to say something, why we have to say. And then they should have also some intention with that saying. So when they come together, then the circumstances are there. So therefore, it will be accomplishing. And now here, the next one. This is very important. Now, what is really different, like aspiration and dedication? Longchenpa says, what is different, these two things? So sometimes they both are same. You know, like we say, the king of aspiration, the excellent conduct is aspiration. And sometimes we also do say that is dedication. So what is really meaning of the differences of the dedication and aspiration? And this is very important, so please you keep in your mind. You give a hand on it, sit down, member damba no mova. And you give a so this is Longchen Ranjam's special, I think, the kind of explanations, or I didn't say actually others, but anyhow, as for the differences between dedication and aspiration, words and wishes placing a consistent on previous existing good cause are called dedication. So if you done something already positive, then whatever you say became dedication. So the actually the excellent conduct aspiration, originally there's no 7th branch, the beginning. You know, they just like more like dedication. But then later on, some masters, they put 7th branch before that. So they are now kind of one kind of text, but there is 7th branch beginning in the excellent conduct. And because then that will be also aspiration, and also can be, you can use as also like dedications. So similarity here, whatever you done something before you say the mentors, you have some virtues, then this is become dedication, and then there's nothing you done, you know, nothing done, and then just saying mentors, it can be just only for the aspiration. So wishes that the merely good cause in themselves are aspirations. And wishes that merely good causes in themselves are aspiration. What does that mean? Okay, and then maybe they're missing one. Here says there's no, it's the new translator, what they says. So you get a masang non-virtue actions before, then whatever, is there any? Then there's missing also. One letter missing, I think. Here says, you get a masang member melamos. If there's no such the root of the virtue previously or before, then this become aspiration. You can say same words, but it become aspiration then. And then ngwa yindak semji ndambatong tsig nubi hyongche la soba la yirwa yenos. Ngwa yindak semji ndambatong tsig nubi hyongche la soba la yirwa yenos. Tingsong hloben namchi sheba na nge mahiba onda shede yentana ombo yinbi lama genda namchi ku tsig jisi sem shobi ndabar chijibe tanje joba yenos. Tsig jongsa tongbo yenji nense joba jisongwa. Yin shayi kong rong rong ma yenpi ndarte jison rongos. Then here says, dedication transforms the mental aspiration of the giver and the power of the word into enlightenment and so forth. What teachers of today say is said from a viewpoint without certain knowledge. When the words, whatever the thought to be truly established after the first bhumi, it is not so, do not follow those who do this. Okay. This is something. And then you're talking about one thing. You know, when in the Buddha's time, everyone goes to the begging for food. And then the ahats or the monks, they do dedicate for them, for them. Because the lay practitioners, they do virtue actions, but they do not know like how to do dedicate. So therefore, and therefore, the masters or the monks, the ahats, they do dedicate for themselves. So they are talking a little bit about like that. So the who are donors, they kind of, the mind, they're dedicating, and then the mind has some kind of wish to dedicate, and then the ahats and others, they're dedicating. So there was actually one story, it's called nice story in the Buddha's time, and there one rich family, or like minister or king or something, and they often invite Buddha and retinues for lunch. And then there was one beggar, the front of the gate. So the beggar was always rejoicing, rejoicing with this, how they are wonderful, this family, because they really create a lot of positive actions in previous, and therefore they are now rich, they are power, they have a power, they are wonderful, and they are inviting Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and serve the foods and so on and so forth. This begging woman has great, genuine rejoicing. So then after, as soon as finish meals, then Buddha dedicate. Buddha knows who have really virtue, and then he dedicate that virtue and that person's name and that virtue to dedicate all sentient beings instead of those donors or families. So Buddha came few times, but always Buddha dedicate by her name, not like really who offers of the food, not the family's name. Because this rich family, they offer, but maybe their intention is not that kind of pure. So therefore, the lady has great intention. So Buddha has always dedicated on her name. And then one time, the man of the family was unhappy actually. Why he get dedicated? Why we don't get? And then one day, before invite, and then normally, after Buddha went, and then all leftovers, he also get that food, And then that time, they make very nice food, and they just throw away in front of her, they didn't give that food to her. So therefore, he was very angry that day. And then they invited Buddha, but all the time they negative thoughts towards of that family, because he was really upset. They just throw away, food in front of her, and she didn't know what was that ideas. So at that day, then Buddha did not dedicate on her name, So the family was happy somehow, but lady didn't actually think of the Buddha dedicate on her name and so on and so forth. But however, here little bit some kind of similarity in Tibet. What I understood is dedicate transform the material aspiration of the giver. Maybe this translation is still like a little bit somehow is wrong, but yindag semjin number tong tsig nupi hyongjo la soba la yirwa yin nos. So the giver's kind of wish, and then the monks or ahats using the mentors and dedication or kind of mentors, and when they too comes, and then the merit it transform into the enlightenment. That was how he was saying. And then Tingsong Loban Namji Sheba no Meshib on the Shide, Yend Ombo Yimbi. And so I think then Longchenpa says, these days, like the lamas, but Longchenpa times, lamas do dedication, but that is more like the donors, the sponsors, they don't know anything. So therefore, lamas helping to doing like pujas and dedications and so on and so forth. So it's big different. The Buddha's times, the donors has also kind of changed their mind to really like kind of to dedicate, and then Buddhas and followers, they do words. But Longchenpa times, and people don't know anything, and so therefore they have no any mental kind of intentions and nothing. But then some lamas helping to do these things. Lama Gendon Kui Tsiki same shopin, but Chechi. So Lama, the master, they said, please, you just kind of follow like my words, and that way it will be, like wish for accomplishment of their wishes, like we say some nice words, and then the donors or sponsors, they're thinking of that, and that way, and then accomplishing of their wishes, like Lama's doing like that way, he says, when the Longchenpa's time. And then he says that in order to accomplishing of their wish by the saying, I say, oh, you will be free from the suffering. You also wish that, okay, I will free from the suffering because you have followed the thinking from after my word. So that way, if, accomplishing of this wish is you have to be above the saying part. Otherwise, someone says it won't be accomplished, just only by saying. The Longchenpa talking here that. So someone says wonderful wishes, and in order to really happen into you, is you have to be yourself as above the saying part. So I think we need this thing a little bit. So in Westerners or practitioners, our practitioners often they ask me or sometimes says, oh, what can I do, pray for my friend or my family. So of course your intention is very good, but really accomplishing of your prayer is, now Longchenpa here says, we need above saying part. So then if you say something, free from suffering, it will be, can be also free from suffering. But otherwise, it won't be really accomplishing what she says. I think I will read here in English. When any words, whatever the thought to be truly established after the first bhumi, it is not so. Do not follow the who do this. What does it mean? Do not follow the who do this. What does it mean? So, when any words, whatever are taught, means like, something free from the suffering, obtain enlightenment, and so on and so forth, to be truly established by the saying, someone says for someone, and not for yourself, but you are saying to someone, helping someone, saying the mentors. So you have to be first bhumi. I think it is not so, I don't know this English, but Tibetan word, whoever cannot do. So that was Longchenpa also, he also following that. So that is in Tibet. And then another like kind of support, weakness. Here says, visualize that as witness of our establishing dedication. What you need to do is, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are heaped up in the sky in front, heap like of cloud. We need to visualize also Buddhas and Bodhisattvas front of us, the weakness of your dedication. Some hen yelbo shambitoji, shambo those chivate, no jonala wrong sharashin is on yobaras. So becoming as kind as the victory ones in former lives, when they give their own flesh and blood to evil spirits, say as he's been told. So this is one of the story, one of the story of the when Buddha was on the path. And he given his own flesh and blood to the spirit ones. And he really also same things. He just has weakness of the old Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, like really kind of generosity. He dedicate his body to them. So in that is one of his great action of on the paths. And then this is the also mentors from that. So this mentor we are often using here. By the merit of these, may all obtain omniscience. May it obtain defeat the enemy wrongdoings from stream, wave, birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara, may we free all beings. And these are how you are dedicate and how you are think. Jibala soba shaos, kachi jila tongba ni jinde ba shebana, shendu mendete, te jiya miba washina, namba magoba nos. Again, then here Longchen Ranjam, he also put some kind of questions or doubts, and he clarified himself. Some people says, or maybe in the Shavakas and particular Buddhas or some beginners, that after this we should spend into emptiness space. But this is completely impropriety, right? Inappropriate here, it may be asked, but isn't what has been done conceptualizations. What does it mean? Someone says that, the dedication also we can rest in the nature of mind or rest in the non-conceptualization. That is also one way of the dedicate, right? Then someone has thought this is not correct, this is maybe, someone think dedicate is must be you have to give in, you have to say something, you have to change your motivation and so on and so forth. If resting in the natural state is not appropriate, if someone says like that. And then Longchen Pa says that is not correct way of the thinking. Number magopa nonte, gewayong malam tawas. True, these phenomena appear without intellectual understanding. Merit is like a dream, and the one who collects it like a dream, the practitioner is like a dream. Such non-attachment to the three spheres of actual as truly existing is called objectlessness. However, entirely empty meditation in nihilism without any merit at all, we should understand this to be bad tradition and abandon it. Okay, from that I don't understand. So I will read in Tibet, okay? Number magoban notes, gewayong malamtab, sobabo malamtab, lembabo malamtab, kosun the danger mebala, mipa meba sejis. So when he talk about non-conceptualization, it doesn't mean totally nothingness, But non-conceptualization is such that what you create, virtue is as like dream or illusory. And who create is also like dream. Who really receiving is also like dream. And that is we call, the free from three space or non-conceptualization. So when we talk about, often we have to understand non-conceptualization, emptiness, and so on and so forth. And these are doesn't mean there's nothing, but there's no essence. Like rainbow. People know that rainbow has no essence. But rainbow should be there, otherwise we cannot say rainbow has no essence, right? But if we think that rainbow is something that I can keep it, I can hoard it, if you think like that, then you are deluded. So therefore, Malaripa also says, none of master says that appearances is something bad, but whoever the clinging of the appearances is not correct. So therefore, non-conceptualization of the three spaces, not clinging of the giver, giving, and object of the gifts. So that meaning the non-conceptualization. That means, resting in the natural state. Otherwise, otherwise, if you meditate, the virtue is nothingness, or virtue itself is empty and nothing, then that is nihilism. So that is bad system or bad rule or bad way of thinking. So you should abandon it. That was, I think, abandoned, it means that way. Then next is, when merit has been connected with these three excellencies, it is called goodness in accord the liberation. This is quite easy. It that cares the path of Buddhahood is not made into the limited course from the below. If this is not completed, and that which is the accord with merit, after each action's good fruition comes forth one time, should be known to be exhausted. So I will read in Tibet because that is maybe a little better, I think. Now they're talking about three excellence, or sometimes we say three supreme ones of the Mahayana skillful meaning. So means that the beginning is important to have the bodhicitta mind. Bodhicitta mind really open your vastness. And then actual, we have to non-conceptualization means like more the two ways of the non-conceptualization, and one is, really like seeing us like also everything as dreams. Then other one is single point mind, not interruption of any negative thoughts. So actual non-conceptualization, that is more like holding by the wisdom. And then the end conclusion, the dedication, supreme dedication, like magic, like illusion, not magic, illusion and dreams. These three we call supreme three methods. So whatever we does virtue actions, if we can link with that three supreme ones or excellent ones, then our virtues will never be end until become enlightenment. Also, our virtue is become the condition of the liberation, and that is the path of the actually the Buddhahood. This is the also we call the course of the Buddhahood. Okay. Tamba sondongdena tawa chendanje gewa chi shawa sonji ju lam ji jisheba monos te mazona sonam chenda chi shadis. So So if there's no three excellent, there's no three excellent which your virtues, then those virtues we call sunam chantan. The sunam chantan, they're talking about accord with merit, which the benefit is that giving birth in the high realms, like human realms, God realms. In the human realm, you are beauty, wealthy, intelligent, and so on and so forth, which is very good. But these are the also limit, maybe you get this result for only one time or two times, then it will be disappeared. So it will be end. So when the course will be end, then you will be again be born into the bad realms and etc. Dina sonam chanda yishade ronong gendri lenji shoni sebanjivanya dishi. But he also says, after each action, good fruition comes forth one time, one time. And then should be known to be exhausted. So that is the dedications. And then now B, how our beings are purified. So this is like belongs to this chapter. The seventh branch chapter has three kind of the list, three kind of the list that the list says the actual seventh branch in page number 105, then how to purify it, and next is how to accumulate merit as measureless or limitless. There's three subjects. Now second one, how to purify it. So how our beings is purified by this, by the practice of the accumulated merit. As for the purpose of the, this is very aforementioned seven lamp for examples. What is aforementioned? Aforementioned is like. Okay. Cheta tuji yongwa rita semji yirbi kado savayins. Teta hendo dobe sem yongwe. Jula nguji senju salvashas is very wonderful word. Just as in piece of cloth that is cleansed by the washing, the color with which it is did shine out in clarity. Within the mind that is cleansed by these preliminaries, the supreme mind of the real will shine out in our beings. So it's wonderful words, right? The piece of cloth, if there is already too much dirty, if you want to put color, it doesn't go very well. So firstly, we have to cleanse. So we have full of the negative emotions in mind. The seventh branch are the antidote. The dedication is antidote of the doubt. So, maybe if I done this, maybe no benefits, maybe no health. So now dedication means even you dedicate your virtues to others, it has also great result. So there's no question about something really you doing yourself good things. There's no question. So like more antidote of the doubt. So anyway, all the seven branch has the antidotes of our negative emotion, is antidote of our negative emotions. So if someone more practicing that and your mind become more cleansed, more pure. So then after if you receiving the actual bodhicitta vows, then certainly appeared, clearly appeared, yes. Okay. Teon sem tamba shebe kesa chiwa tumayo na sem te mesheshin keta na shevas. Then if defilement hidden the arise of the genuine mind, it will not arise. So genuine mind, it means bodhicitta mind. Okay, now here they're talking about genuine mind. In Tibetan here says Sam Tambar, supreme mind. And he puts here genuine mind, but it actually bodhicitta mind. If you have defilement, then it won't be arise bodhicitta mind. It will not arise. But if these hindrances are purified, it will arise bodhicitta mind. The purpose is like that of I don't know this English word. Laundering, cleaning to filthy cloth whose colors are no longer apparent by washing it. Okay, read ma Jesus majapala tolan kenji turi yonde thank you but don't gupa yo dose. So anyway, those who are working on the cloth, to put different colors, what they do is first they wash well and then they put different colors. Similarity, those bodhisattvas or Buddhas, they try to change the sentient being's mind, put in different wonderful colors of the white wisdom, red compassionate, then they have do the cleaning of the mind, such we have the dirty of the anger, ignorance, desires, and etc. So as soon as you done something, then it will be easy to arising. So therefore, we really practice only 7 branch, all your life, also good enough. Then you are more puring. And then sometimes if you have very thick kind of clouders in our mind, sometimes we have day to day also different. You can see yourself, the mind, morning to evening, how different is, day to day, how different is. But we should never give up because we have confidence that our nature of mind is really pure. So maybe today cloud, but sure tomorrow sunshine. So therefore, when they have more dark parts, you should practice more like 7 branches. Do some postations. It helps. And then next is, okay, how those that have this foundation are immeasurables. So the third one. So through the practice of the 7 branch, and they says we gain a measurable of merit. So now question, how it will? And then here they're talking about, the root text says, as for those who produced these 7 lamps, and then root text says here, and so the limitless fruit of this meritorious practice encompass the whole of space like Dhammadhatu. Then sonam driva temede change namge inkacha. The merit after this 7 branch is the pervading of the space of the Dhammatha. So Dhammatha has no measure and space is no really kind of measure. So for example, of your little virtue, when we are dedicated, it says that example is the 1 drop of water when you put into the ocean. So this inseparable. Your little drop of water is inseparable of the ocean. So until ocean existing, your little drop is there. So therefore, I think we have pills, holy pills. They collation all things. And maybe we don't get many, like Guru Rinpoche here is very few, but when you put into the substance, make the pills, 1,000 pills you can make from this 1 year. It will be there. Similarity, the dedication, our virtue, we dedicate, for example. When we dedicate, virtue, it goes to the ocean of the sentient beings. So therefore, your merit is limitless of the sentient beings. Your merit limitless of the space. Your merit, as well as also we say we are resting in the natural state. Your merit is become as the Dhamma Dhatu, or natural state. So therefore, there is no really such measure. We cannot measure. Immeasurable merit there. And then Buddha has put here the sutta teaching. One of the sutta quotations. The follower, the name is Palbe. He recalls it. And then Buddha told to him, and this name of the sutta is the recourse by Palbe, sutta of the recourse by Palbe. Kongki hyochi sonjila mini tammo yarshide hyansa tejin hyoshetam sonam tala yeronshis. Someone who visualize the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 durations as limit as space, and focusing to them, and do the palm joins and prostration, offering to them, and sonam tala and rejoicing of the their merit, rejoicing of the their merit, and confession of the own, bad actions. As long as you see the rejoicing or quality of others, and that also helps to confession of our own faults. So normally why we don't see our faults? We don't have any rejoicing of the others. So we think that we are perfect, So you don't have rejoicing, so therefore we don't see our faults. When you are really doing rejoicing, having rejoicing, seeing quality of others, and may you see also your faults. It helps. So therefore, then we also confess it. Oh, how I am poor. I cannot do like that. How I am stupid. I was stupid, not I am. Maybe. How I was stupid, okay? That's good. So the confession, as well as recourse to Dharma, as well as also not remind to the Nirvana, recourse to the teaching, not go to Nirvana, and there is so he says the kind of aggregates of the merit is filled by the space, and that will be always, not like wasting somewhere, always filled space by those merits. And sometimes it says the merit is if there is form, and we cannot really keep on the space. The space is too little for the containers. Container, right? This is container? Yes. If the merit has the form, the space is too little for containers. So it means much more. So there is many great merits, and you can create many ways to the great merits. So there was one story. One monk, one lama, he went to in the nomad home, and he tried to telling, where you can create it, the virtue actions. And at the same time, he also telling to them how we are collecting also virtue actions, unvirtue actions. Like we can create many ways on virtue action. Even you drink tea, even you drink water, even you drink milk, even you eat samba, even you walk on the earth, there is many ways to be collecting of the unvirtue actions. Even you are aware of the thinking and etc. So he telling all these things. And then later the lady says, oh, if you talk about how the collection of the virtue actions, and she says that, of course, no question about you, but even old lady me can possible enlightenment. Because the first station has immeasurable merit, rejoicing has immeasurable merit, and etc. And then she says, if we thinking of the how we collection of the unvirtue actions, she says, of course, no question about me, but even for you, it will be very hard to be liberated from the samsara. Because Lama also need to eat, work, many things, collection bad karma. So therefore, there's many ways to also collection bad karmas too, not only only good karma. So we have to apply more antidote of the good actions, which is quite important. Okay, so maybe I think we should stop here today. So it was kind of important topic, not very difficult though, but it's very important. So maybe this year there's a little bit construction things, many things happening, so I'm a little sorry for you, I have no time for practicing. But if someone not working involved constructions should really a little bit meditation. All of us, we need some direction. Why we are listening this teaching. Why I am also giving this teaching. Why you are coming so far and your precious time used for this, and doing such things. There's many, need circumstances, not that easy. So all of us, the intention is really kind of be a little bit, find genuine peace, and remove of our sufferings or the cause and condition of the sufferings. So therefore, we need some kind of direction, direction that we will carry, until become enlightenment. We have to carry this until enlightenment. So therefore, like the meditations, that practicing is very important to be temporarily peaceful, comfortable, soft mind, flexible mind. Flexible is very important, So, so therefore, we need training a little bit. So whoever involved work and something, do some meditation, either inside temple or around. This is a really wonderful place. So the 7 branches is really important. Is there any questions? Yeah.
Thank you for the true story. There was this man who was a person who had strong desire and who wanted to become an arhat because he wanted to have endless pleasures with women there. And when Buddha was showing him the hell realms, and then he saw that being there was not so good idea. So question, was he only thinking of himself when he saw the hell realm, that, oh, I'm not going to end up eventually in a very good place if I carry on? Or did he, when he saw the hell sufferings, did he have some compassion to people?
I think this arhats is always thinking themselves liberation. So patimoksha means individual liberation. So there's not much involved with benefit others, but they themselves have stronger renunciation, the fully suffering of all these 6 realms.
And the other true story about the food and how it was dedicated normally to one poor lady, and eventually when the food was thrown away, and then you mentioned that Buddha did not dedicate at that time to this poor lady because he was kind of angry of the situation. Question is, did Buddha dedicate then to the family?
That I don't know. Yeah, that I
It
don't
would be a
know.
little bit strange if it would have been dedicated to the family, since they were. I wonder if they were.
Yeah, that no, I have no answer. So we have to read the book. They should have in those books, some of those books.
Yeah. I have a question about the non-returner Rinpoche, because that's the Shravakas, the non-returner in the.
Non-written is Shavakas, you can
So
say.
what I don't understand is that as they are not bodhisattvas, they can't be enlightened. So if they don't return, I guess it's not returning to samsara. So where do they go exactly?
Nirvana.
Ah.
Mm.
Thank you.
Non-written by the negative emotion.
Thank you. Thank you, Rinpoche.
I have told many times.
Yes, sorry, but I got confused. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I have two questions. One is on the page 135. We talked about the Buddha fields. That you said that we need to purify the Buddha field so that others will be ready to receive the teachings. Kind of, if the Buddha field is not purified, maybe then no one is prepared to listen and practice the Dharma. So can you explain about the Buddha field? It is eventually concerning all of us.
I think the translation as Buddha field, but it's normally this all sentient beings involved with that, like this field.
So does that have something to do?
Purifying of the object, maybe we can say like that.
But it is kind of individual, somehow, that each have their own Buddha field. Or this is the question. This is the question. I don't know. So
I don't know your question also.
So you said that we need to purify the Buddha field so that others will receive teaching. And if the Buddha field is not purified,
There's this examples. Just sometimes I give examples. You don't take everything like this only narrow things. Okay, that is sometimes big mistake. So now, what is your question? Tell me again.
so if the Buddha field is not purified, maybe no one is prepared to listen and practice Dharma if the Buddha appears.
I don't say no one. I don't say no one.
Okay, but anyway.
But for examples, you need, when you are enlightened, there's need to some good circumstance to manifesting of your activity, like the lack of the circumstance may be less benefit for sentient beings. But you can do benefit sentient beings as you have become Buddha, but it can be less.
And the second question, it is on page 143. It is when we talked about this. It is said when any words whatever are thought to be truly established as the first room, it is not so. Do not follow those to do this. So you said that kind of if one is on the seeing path, then if you dedicate something, then it can be
One seeing part, whatever they say, by word, even they have no intention, it can be helps.
Okay. But so, for example, like worldly religions, they often promise many things, but they they are kind of not valid in that case.
What kind of, for example?
Christians, I mean, they are.
Why you bring Christian here?
because they do the same thing. They also promise like.
That I don't know. I never learned anything about Christian. You should ask to them.
Thank you.
Yeah, you.
I have a question about these 7 limbs being antidotes to negative emotions. So, is both us requesting to turn the wheel of Dharma and requesting for the teacher not to pass to Nirvana antidote to ignorance?
No. This, as I told you, that requesting not turn to the Nirvana is antidote of the wrong view.
Wrong view. Okay. Sorry, yeah, I missed that. Yeah.
This history about the householder who was offering food to Buddha and the poor lady. So didn't seem very like a good motivation from the side of the merit for him. So sounds like it was a very pure motivation.
Or then this poor lady's motivation is much more higher than this family. Mm. So rejoicing is very powerful.
But then it sounds quite typical for as a motivation. So you give something to holy beings and then you hope something for yourself.
Sorry, it's difficult.
It's very typical motivation if you give something to holy beings and then you expect that Buddha to dedicate the merit to you.
Mm.
Quite typical.
So it's dedicate not you, but dedicate your virtue to the sentient beings. So that is the things here. So the lady has more virtue than you. So therefore, Buddha dedicate from the her virtue actions. Oh. Yeah.
I have a question about dedication. In different texts there is kind of two different kind of version, which is almost the same, a little bit different. One is that I dedicate so that I attain enlightenment for the benefit of beings. Another is that I dedicate so that all beings attain enlightenment.
Same time.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Is this completely equal or is there some?
That depends on how you generate your bodhicitta mind. So the bodhicitta, race of the bodhicitta, the beginning has three different levels, as we mentioned. One is first, I become attain enlightenment, then I can helping. The king, like if someone become king and then he can helping beings. And then one is they going together, like both men, going together. So the way of the generate bodhicitta has different. So therefore, the dedication is also goes a little bit similar of that. So they both are wonderful. They both are dedicated into the enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings. Yes.
Yeah, and this about, I have learned that we make the dedication after we have done the practice, because now we are very proud, I have done this, I have healed on somebody, or I have made some very good, but then I dedicate the merit I got for all the living sentient beings, so I not shall get too high, too proud. And that is why we make the dedication also.
Okay. So?
Yeah, is that also a proper view to the dedication?
It's the same as what I said here?
Yeah, it was a little difficult to hear it in this, so I had to listen again to the teaching.
Okay.
But
So
yes,
I didn't get exactly what you mean.
When I have done the Nundro in the morning, and I sit there, wow, now I have done the Nundro and I'm so proud of myself. But then I dedicate the merit I got for doing this Nundro. I dedicate it, otherwise I will be proud.
Yeah, I think it's things that's important is that the virtue is like dream. A collection of virtue is also dream. Where your dedication is also like dream. That is important. So if there is I, if there is my virtue, then maybe it was difficult to dedicate. Even you say some dedicate, but that dedicate is not for the maybe enlightenment. Oh. Okay.
Which was the, I missed this one, which was the antidote to doubt? Is that dedicating the merit or the whole 7 branches?
It's doubt.
Yeah. Okay.
Antidote of the doubt.
The dedication.
Doubt for the cause and conditions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, on page 145, there's this little bit, I found a little bit difficult passage here quote. Some say that after this we should expand into empty space, but this is completely inappropriate word.
I think someone says the virtue is not exist. Page number what?
145.
Yeah, 145. I think they're talking about virtue itself is not existing or something. You know, when they're talking about non-conceptualization, it means that some people say there's no virtue. You know, there's no virtue, there's no self, there's no virtue, there's no object of the dedication, and that is wrong. So there is virtue, but their virtue is like dim. There is person who are offering, and that is like more also like dim. And there is sentient beings that is also like dim. So you have to think that way, rather like there is no virtue, and so on.
Yeah, because it sounds like at the end of reading the dedications, that one would be just like empty space. It sounds like some kind of meditation or something, but it's not like that.
Not like that. Not thinking of the empty. So in the Mahayana, they talk about emptiness. It's big different than nothingness. That we have to understand. So when they talk about emptiness, there's no essence, like rainbow, like dim. So all phenomena, if you're really analyzing, become like that, the same.
I had a question on something I've been reading and where I've been mentioning Buddha field. I've read Sakyamuni Buddha field is called the world of endurance. Is that so?
Word of what?
It's, endurance, to endure, endurance.
That I don't know. Endurance, I don't know.
Endurance.
It's Tibetan?
Endurance?
English?
English, yes. Endurance. Yes, it's to strive and strive without giving up. World of endurance. Endurance. Endurance, yes.
Okay, that I don't know, sorry. Okay. Sunandaye damje zebanya dona nibe danam Yaga nanje balan drubaye zuban zolan drowa drowa yo Jama ye balam ye je ye ba nyamba me ba yon gone gonda Ganya yon la de jen yon wa non da yen ma le do za de yon ya da zong je za la ngo ba yo Namba da wa la ge je dom yon lo da ma ye ye je de le ba don wa ma la me jen la za la je ma yo Lord, Bama, da, je, zon, da, yen, yo. Laman, joga, demanda, jadangala, jay, jagayon, la, yo. Danger, jing, and danger, dada, domba, jo, jonjo, zemba, konda. Deda, gunja, melanda, jo.